Well, let's pick the brains of Sarina Russo. Of course, we all know Sarina's self-made as far as teaching us and also teaching us how to help us through our careers. Sarina, good afternoon.
Hi, how are you, James? Thank you very much for having me on your show.
No, thanks.
Quite an interesting subject, isn't it?
It is, and I wanted to get your take on this because David raises a point, and he seems to think there's going to have a fair knock-on effect in society. Is this something that you have seen, you have experienced, or people within the industry are talking to you about?
Well, then if I was talking about myself, I remember the feeling of being really, really average and failing my English because I was a migrant kid and I used to really struggle with English and always fail in it. I also failed in maths, and I remember at All Hallows, like doing my best at maths, and the nun wrote the letter B-A-D. And I was an optimist, and I thought that abbreviation meant best always done. So, that's the impact it had on me as a failure at school.
So Sarina, I'm taking out of that you, as you were failing, you were then going, okay, I'm determined to succeed, I'm determined to get better?
Correct. Now, that's how it impacted on me. I mean, I remember failing grade 10 junior English 3 times, and I sat through it every time and failed. Then I thought, no, it's not going to beat me. And I went to, night classes, and I did my grade 12. I failed again about 3 times and passed it. I then recall getting a letter from UQ saying that I've been accepted as a mature age student, and the first subject I wanted to do was English. So I was determined, and now I speak beautiful English. But now I'm bilingual. But now I can say that not everyone has that sense of feeling of really, getting through experiences of failure. But I would say it goes back to the teacher. I think it's the way you communicate, and even as a leader, how you present failure to a student. I think that you've got to be able to say you have, and I like the idea of tracking, where if you track, a student's, great results and look at the areas that they are not doing well in, and if you focus on the areas that they are doing well, and then say you can work twice as hard, or if you approach it this subject this way, you can still motivate a student. So I think a teacher has a responsibility of understanding the student's way of learning. And I think that, today we have so many tools like computer tools that will track students' needs of learning. And so there's no excuse why every student can't be given an equal opportunity because the resources, you're talking about a psychologist. There are so many resources today that we never had when I was at school. So, every student should go out there and win in something, and win in school or win in sport or, every student should have a sense of winning. And that's what, that's my belief anyhow.
We're getting an insight from Sarina Russo. She's the Jobs Queen of Queensland, Jobs Queen of Australia, really. Had great success with her company. Sarina, I want to ask you, is it your experience? You're at the coalface with this, with job seekers, with people trying to get employment, get into the workforce. Dave's suggestion that kids just come out of school and they want to be CEO within 2 years. Is that your experience?
Well, what's wrong with that? I wanted to as well. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, but you've got to earn your stripes first, though.
Well, do you have to earn your stripes? I think today youth really add a lot of value to the business world. And in fact, I was at Harvard Business School last year, and they talk about reverse mentoring, where the youth today are actually mentoring mature business leaders. Because of disruption of technology, the youth today can teach us so much more than what we could ever possibly imagine. And hence, youth today can become extraordinarily successful through being smart on their app and their iPhone.
I have no doubt about that, Sarina, but surely experience is something you can't buy off the shelf. Don't you need to...
Today we don't just need experience. Today we need to understand technology and how consumers really think differently. And youth can teach us that. So I think that's the olden days where you need experience. Experience for what? If you're going to study to be a doctor, well, I can appreciate you need 7 years of training and then you go into a hospital and do your training. But it really depends on what industry you're referring to. You know, today I went to Sarina Russo Job Access Southport, and I had a mature age, unemployed job seeker saying, you know, I can't compete with the youth in, you know, with the bar, you know, like wanting to serve at a bar. I said, why not? You know, so we've got to change the attitude that youth today need experience to become successful. If you look at anyone like Steve Jobs or Facebook, you know, if you look at any dynamic digital company today, it all has been led by youth. And youth today have so much value to give. And the way we learn today is differently to the way we used to learn at school. You know, once upon a time, we used to go to a library to get information. Now we just hit a button called Google. If I want to find my way around Brisbane, I hit an app called Google Map. You know, there are so many more tools today that allow you to fast learn and fast track. And so hence, I think we're in an exciting world for the youth and also the mature age.
Well, Sarina,
or any age.
Any age. Sarina, yeah. Look, I could sit here and pick your brains about tips and stuff for those who are looking for employment at whatever age. And you know what? We might get you back on a little later in the month to talk about that, because I know that's something that is very close to people who are listening now, especially those struggling to find work, because I guess you are that success story of having failed, of keep getting knockbacks, jumping over the hurdle, and expanding the way you have become now. What is it? 180 offices around town, around the country.
We've got, you know, we're opening Mount Druitt, you know, on Thursday by the one and only Alan Jones, who really is connected to, you know, the people at Mount Druitt who are
really?
Which is just extraordinary. So I mean, we're all in it together. You know, learning is exciting. You've got to take a leap of faith in your own ability. You know, I was not good in science, but my God, I found out that I was through failure. So failure is good as long as your interpretation of failure is interpreted in a positive way. It's a silver lining to jump up and get an awakening and say, yes, I can. And I can do it now. And have that sense of feeling of passion and excitement of your future.
Sarina, appreciate your unique insight. Sarina Russo there. She is the jobs queen, I just said, of Queensland, but it seems like Australia, Mount Druitt, opening up this next week. Cannot still get my head around the fact that if teachers are not failing kids, where will they learn? I think Sarina, what she said there is her last comments, that failure, you need to learn how to fail, and it's how you cope with those failures that makes you such a success. It's coming up to